cactus and succulent growers, I'm Lynn and welcome to Desert Plants of Avalon. And apologies for the bit of an echoey voice. I'm having to film indoors today because it is very windy and I don't want the wind noise to be too annoying when I'm filming videos. Even though I have a special windshield on the camera, it still picks up the wind noise when it's very windy. And this little video here, I actually wasn't going to film a video, but I thought it would be to show you a bit of a good example of a cactus that is extremely root bound. Now I've been doing a bit of repotting because I've got a bit of time on my hands now while waiting for the new greenhouse, and I noticed that my lovely cactus, I don't know the exact variety because I just bought it labelled as cactus quite a few years ago, but it's obviously an cactus variety. Beautiful golden spine. It's a lovely plant, been doing very well. But I noticed that even though I've had it outdoors and it's, we've had a very sunny spring and summer, but now it's fall, the weather has gone quite windy, and when it's rained, it's been heavy rain. I noticed it's not really been taking up the water as well as it should. And a perfect example here is, you can see around here, it's a little bit of a sort of like scarring. It also looks a bit like stretch marks. And this is quite normal when cacti start to shrivel. But although it's sort of the fall now, a lot of my cacti are still sort of pretty much in growth, and the weather's been quite mild for this time of year. And it hasn't really been taking up the water like it should, and it's been drying out so fast. And I thought, time to get it out its pot. I didn't think it needed a repot because there was no roots coming through the bottom. However, when I got it out of the pot, that's the old pot, which was quite wide, which I thought was enough for it. I'll just turn it round and show you here. Look at that, for a root-bound cactus. That's why it's been drying out so fast. And I remember I actually repotted this particular cactus at the time. Didn't have a lot of roots, so I made sure I put it into a wide pot and use a very gritty mix. And I didn't overpot it because it needed to rebuild roots, but literally since I did it the last time, it's probably a year ago I repotted it. It didn't have a great root system. It has unbelievably rooted itself mad, and it's actually left, as you can see here, all these rings going around, the imprint of the old pot. So I'm really happy it's re-rooted so incredibly well. That well, in fact, it's actually eaten up the soil. So obviously I've got to repot it now, which I'm really happy about, because when I noticed it wasn't really taking up water, I always think, has it got root mealy bugs or anything else going on with it? I didn't expect it to have mega rooted itself so well. And the soil here is a little bit damp because it's been outside. So this is where I'm going to be extremely careful now with the potting up. Normally with these roots I would probably use, because what I was going to do is to tease these roots a little bit to loosen it up before I put it into the new pot, much wider pot for potting it on. However, because of the time of year and it is a bit damp, I'm just going to be very careful, keep it as it is, and put the soil in here, and then just put the dry soil around it, and probably keep it like that now until next spring, because these roots, they're not that tightly compacted where it's not going to come into the new soil. It will have a chance to settle in, so I'm not going to disturb it. Just place it into the new pot. So I've got the wider pot. It's also a little bit deeper as well, and I've got a bit of the mesh here just to hold out these holes. These holes I've actually drilled in myself because they're not really plant pots, but they're bowls that I got from a bit of a garden centre, and I've drilled my own holes in. And then I've got the little mesh here to stop all the soil going through. I'm going to put a bit of soil in the bottom now. Now I've made up the soil mix and put about an inch of soil at the bottom here. And the soil mix I've made here is 3 equal parts of loam. In this case I've used John Innes number 2, a brand by Clover. I love the Clover John Innes, it's a lovely quality. Mixed with horticultural sharp sand and pumice at exactly 3 equal parts. Sometimes if I don't have pumice I'll use grit, or if I don't have grit, I'll use perlite. But when I can get pumice, I much prefer it, because perlite has a habit of floating up to the top after a while when it's been used in the compost. So it's good to have pumice and give it all a good mix around. And the most important thing, everyone has their own favourite mixes when it comes to cactus soil, but the most important thing is that it's free draining. In other words, it dries fast in between waterings, and because obviously the time of year, it's now getting late in the year now, and a lot of cacti coming into their rest anyway, I'm making sure that the soil is totally completely dry. And obviously it's loose, as you can see. Sometimes if I'm potting up in the middle of the growing season, if the soil is a wee bit damp, it's not a problem, but it's completely dry now. And as I say, when I pot this up, I'm going to be keeping it dry then now until next spring. Normally if this was spring and summer, I'd pot it up, leave it for a week to 10 days, then I'd start watering again, just to let the roots settle in. But because of the time of year, it's getting late now, I won't water this echinocactus at all. What I might probably do, because it is showing a little bit signs of shrivelling, I'll probably give it a bit of a spray. I'll just spray the top of the plant, because cacti, believe it or not, can actually absorb moisture from the areoles. And I'm going to keep it in a bit of a shady place, put it back under the table in the garden there, and then when we get the new greenhouse, it's going to be going in there anyway. So here we go. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not going to be disturbing the roots because of the time of year. I'm just going to be placing it in, putting the soil around, and then it's all ready for next spring to continue growing into the new soil. So then, and obviously, if you're not used to handling cacti, then I recommend that you use gloves. I'm actually used to handling cacti, so it's not a problem for me. So I've been bit by cacti so many times over the years of growing cacti. And this one, actually, I can pick up like this, so it's not really a problem. So there we go, placing that in the pot. Like so, making sure that it's centralised. Make sure it's centered, and then I'm going to put this soil around the sides here. So this, as I say, was Desperado for a repot. Sometimes you don't realise plants grow so fast, their roots, like this one, as I mentioned, didn't have a great root system, so I thought that would be okay for at least another year. So I'm glad that I checked this guy out. And I have quite a lot of late repottings this year because it's been a really strange growing year for me. Lovely weather, but those of you who watch my channel know it's been pretty nightmarish. Well, it's been lovely because we moved house to a beautiful, beautiful home here by the coast. But the drama with the greenhouse that we ordered it in April, and we're still waiting. And the date they've given us originally was the end of November. And like, I've got all my cacti in the garden. Yeah, as those of you who know, I have a huge collection. It's not practical to bring them all into the house, but I'm going to have no option in the next week to have to bring them in because the weather is getting... Well, it's not the temperatures that's the problem. We don't really get the frost until later on. But it's the rain. The weather has changed a lot now, and plants have to dry out well in time before the winter. So I want them all dry when I put them into my greenhouse. So the only way they're going to dry is by taking them into the house. So there's going to be plants here, there and everywhere. And obviously it's not that easy for me to film indoors when I can't move. And we've also got a cat as well. And although he doesn't bother with the plants, I have to be very careful that he doesn't hurt himself. So, you know, we want the greenhouse. So the greenhouse company, I mean, they're great. It's just very busy. And we had to wait a long time for the base was fixed first before we can go ahead with the greenhouse. So they're doing their best to bring it forward, the date. So fingers crossed for us guys, because I really, no problem if I have to bring the plants in, if it's only for a couple of weeks or so, but not for 3 months, 2 months even. Can't live like that, you know. We live in this house and we have a lovely new home. We've spent all the past while getting it all lovely and cosy, and don't want to have to stick plants here, there and everywhere. But anyway, if that's what we have to do, we'll have to do. So there we go, that's looking great. Now I'll give it a wee tap around the edges to make sure all the soil has gone around here. So that's brilliant. Gently press it down. It's going to be so much happier now. It's got a wider and a bit of a deeper pot as well for it. So a bit of tap and a press down. So if there's any more spaces here, put some more soil in. Fill it up again. I'm going to top dress it with a bit of grit as well because it just finishes it off nice. There we go. Another tap. And as I say, if this was spring and summer, then I would leave it a week to 10 days before watering again. But because of the time of year, it's late in the season, I won't be giving this any water now. Maybe just spray the top with a bit of a misting. And that's it. No water now till spring, no proper water. And then a bit of a grit, a bit of a top dressing here. Finishes it off. Also a bit of top dressing helps keep the top of the cactus around the base dry as well, I always find. So I just like to put a little bit of topping on. You don't have to use grit at the top, I just think it looks nice. Finishes the cactus off. So, happy days. And if you want to know how to repot a cactus, I've actually done a video quite a long time ago, but I showed two examples, one of a cereus cactus and one of a large barrel cactus, on how to repot a cactus. Then do check out the video out I've made, and I'll link that video up above. But I've got tons of repotting videos on my on this channel. So go ahead and have a look at them if you're new to growing cacti, and in particular repotting cacti. But as I say, I'm used to handling them and I know sort of how to handle them without hurting my hands. But if you're new to handling cacti, make sure you protect your hands with some very good gloves. I personally find gloves are not brilliant because spines go straight through them. Sometimes sheets of cardboard and newspaper is easier to wrap around the cactus when handling. So there we go, so much better. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. And for lots more tips and tricks on growing cacti, do subscribe and don't forget to click the notification bell. Do leave a comment in the comments down below, because every comment really does help to helps the algorithm, helps my channel. And follow me on Insta and Facebook at Desert Plants of Avalon. And I want to wish you all a fantastic cactus powered, it's windy guys, but a cactus powered day. Cacti are having a bad hair day again because it's windy.